What's up, guys? So we just finished up the Sinister Six last week, but that was just scratching the surface because what I was ultimately working up to was the Sinister 16. That's right, 16 villains teaming up to take down Spider-Man. By adding 10 more villains to this Rogues Gallery, we got to check out a lot of really cool off-the-wall villains, some villains that don't get as much love, and today we're going to check out two of those. We're going to check out Molten Man and Hydroman. These were two designs that are really fun to try to fit into my unique style. So today's video, we'll take a deep dive into both characters. So grab a snack and let's hang out. So first up, we're going to start with Hydroman. I bought this Lex Luthor power armored suit from Big Bad Toy Store. He was on sale, and I thought this will work really well because we used Metallo for Molten Man, as you'll see later on in the video. And it's pretty much the same sculpting from the waist down at the very least. And I figured these two guys would have a similar suit style, so I wanted to use this. But as you see here, we're going to have to make some upgrades because this arm kind of sucks. It popped right off. But like I said, the legs match really well between two suits. So I think this is going to be good for the continuity of the universe and these element men, basically. So as I dig through my fodder bin, I have this Hot Pursuit Flash or whatever he might be called from Injustice. I think these arms are going to work really well. This looks really cool. And if I'm basing it off this like armored look I found online, I think these arms are going to work really well. So we're going to go ahead and use those. Like I mentioned in a Red Goblin video the other day, I like to size up parts and it looks like it's going to work really well. These might be a little bit bigger, but that's okay. I don't mind bulky. And with the arms popped on, that's honestly probably the biggest difference we're going to make. Maybe we'll swap out some hands and add some effects. But these arms are enough of an upgrade, and the chest piece being a little bit different from Molten Man will be all the difference. So let's go ahead and check out this guy. I think this helmet's going to work really well. So I heat up the head. It pops off really well. We just cut these hoses real quick and pop it on here. And yeah, this is looking really sweet. This is going to be a pretty neat take on Hydroman, I think. So let's go ahead and start painting it up. First up, we're going to go ahead and disassemble this figure again. I'm going to pop out these shoulder joints. We're going to Rit dye these black. We'll probably also do the joints as well. It's just going to be easier for some of the paint rub. Next up, with the little shoulder joints out, it was giving me a little bit of a hard time there, but now they're all out. I'm going to go ahead and warm up this overlay and hope that I can kind of take it off easily. And it came off really well. It was just glued down in a couple spots, so we're going to be able to paint this up and then glue it right back down, no problem. This also makes it easier for us to get to the abdomen part without having to tear that apart, which is great because trying to pop those pieces back together really risks so much more paint damage, and it could be so much more time consuming. But now we'll move down to the legs as well. And like I said, we'll probably Rit dye the joints because I'm going to do all those little armored bits in between the armor, I guess, black. So we'll just Rit dye it black and we won't have to worry about prepping joints too much. We'll just have to prep these joints a little bit on the arms. Like I did in a Red Goblin video, you just warm up these joints and they pop off really easily. A little flathead screwdriver like this definitely helps too, to kind of get in between and give you the leverage to pop them out. And now with the figure completely disassembled, this is the little bit that we're going to go ahead and Rit dye. This is going to be the ball joints for the ankles and then all the joints for the knees. This is definitely going to save us a lot of time with prep. Now, as all that stuff is Rit dyeing, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour. You can watch Rit dye tutorials on my page if you're ever curious how to do it. We'll move on to the body. I'm going to base coat everything in black. This will give me a lot more even base as I go ahead and paint the blues and grays on there. We also did it on the arms as well. I had to prep the joints, and I'm going to go ahead and keep the gray like that because I think the gray works good, so it's a little less painting for us. We also did it on the torso here. Again, it's just going to give us a lot better of a base. I'll talk about it more when we get to Molten Man, but I didn't do it for him, and so the painting process took a lot longer. So this is what we're looking like after one coat of blue. This newer Golden acrylics paint I use is really good, but it's when it's watered down, it's really transparent. So we're going to do a couple coats of blue, but this is looking like a good base and I'm pretty happy with these colors so far. So we'll move forward with them. Now let's grab our brighter blue and start adding that on top of the darker blue base. As you can see, this already made a huge difference. It's a lot brighter now and it's covering really well. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. All right, we've made some progress on the arm, so let's go ahead and check that out. I added this lighter blue. It's like a mint green on the trim and then an even lighter blue on this part. Kept the gray as is. I painted the pins black. I don't know if I love that, but we'll roll with it for now. I also finished up all the details on the legs. I went through and touched up all the black after the blue was done. I added light blue again, accents throughout here. This looks really good. Touched up the black and then added some metal details as well. But where I did the most work was by far on this torso. This took a lot of time and patience and a really fine tip brush. Again, I did the alternating dark blue and light blue throughout the torso. Looks really good. I like the shiny spine and then the little shiny divots throughout the neck piece and then the little light gray on the belt. We also started painting up this helmet. It was pretty close in shade to begin with, but I'm just going to go over it with the blue again to get it looking more coherent and then put a little light blue patch on there as well. Lastly, let's take a quick look at the diaper piece. We painted up the belt, so now we just have to touch up some paint. As we double back to the chest piece, you see we touched up even more paint, added a lot more details. We added this little light blue throughout the wiring to kind of give it that continuity throughout the other figures in the Sinister Six, like I mentioned before. And then just general touch up throughout. I hit it with a clear coat as well so that it'll be sturdier, and it definitely helps us go through and touch up some paint when we have a clear coat base. As you see, we still have to touch up a little bit more as we continue to put the figure together. And now with the figure assembled, this is what we're looking like. We finished all the blue touch-up paint and touch-ups in general, hit it with a couple clear coats, and now this is what we're working with. These are Vulcan hands. They fit into these little water pieces from Tempest, I believe his name is, really well. So I glued them onto the forearms, and then the hands just kind of fit in there. We hit everything else with a clear coat. This is all looking really good. Now we just need to paint up these feet and then some other minor details throughout, like the joints here and a couple more touch-ups. We've made great progress on the helmet and we're pretty much done there as well. Again, I did the light blue on the hoses and then painted the hoses black, added a couple black details here and there, and then the light blue is all touched up. So we put the helmet on there and we take one last look at this figure. As we zoom in on the back here, you can see I added some metallic bits to the helmet as well. The hoses just kind of run back here for now. I don't know a permanent home for them. I touched up the belt, I put some details on the belt as well, hit the water pieces with clear coat so it gives it an even cooler effect after the fact, which is perfect. And then just all the little details throughout, and the feet are painted up as well. Next up, we'll move over to Molten Man. I made this guy a while back. There's a short form video on him on my profile, so if you're curious how this came to be originally, just go to there. But I want to make some revisions, and I'm also selling the red Superman that I sold his head from, so I want to swap the head as well. As we're looking over this body, it came out really good, so there's really not a ton of paint I'm going to have to touch up while we're here. A lot of the small details look really good. The paint's held up really well with a couple of clear coats, so I'm happy with how it looks. I'm just going to swap the head, the hands, because I got a lot of comments that the hands were really tiny, and then add some details to this belt, similar to how we did it on Hydroman. Like I said, I just love to make sure continuity is throughout all 16 of these figures. So when I found this effigy figure on clearance at Target, I figured this is going to be a perfect Molten Man head, and he also comes with these fire accessories, and I think these red fists will work really well for this figure too. So this is basically perfect. Alright, as we check in here, you see I added some details to the belt, so that's looking a lot better. And I also painted these parts in black. I kind of skipped this the last time, so I'm adding these small details to, again, complement the Hydroman design. And I just was tired of painting by the time I was done this figure the last time, so coming back with fresh eyes to touch up some of the details is working really well. And we swapped heads one last time. I used a modern Jon Stewart head. I love this head, and I think it fits really well. I was basing this design off of like Scorcher or Spectacular Spider-Man, Molten Man, and you know, Liz Allen and her family were black, as well as Scorcher in the comics, so it fit really well. And I still used the hands and some fire accessories from Effigy, and then I finished up these little metal pieces throughout the body and a lot of the black pieces, and hit everything with one last clear coat. And this is looking so good. The small details really elevate this figure even more. I really liked how it was to begin with, but this just brought it to the next level. As we pull them side by side, again, you can tell, like I said, from the waist down, it's the same exact sculpt. So I wanted to add a lot of the same similar details just to really sell that it was the same costume designer. Plus they're like elemental villains, so I thought it'd be cool. But we hit both figures with one last clear coat just to really lock in those paint details and everything else. And this just looks absolutely amazing. The clear coat on the Jon Stewart head worked really well. It was a little foggy on Hydroman, so I don't know how I feel about that. But overall, I'm really happy with these designs. I've really had full artistic freedom because there's not a lot to pull from these guys besides this dude being made of water, and then Molten Man being a guy on fire in a Speedo in most instances. So I had a lot of fun creating these characters. Like I said in the beginning, by doing a Sinister 16, I get to really tackle a lot of random villains that we don't see a lot. So stick around, there's going to be a lot more villains coming. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, join my Discord, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss the next upload. And I'll see you guys in the next one.